Hey you guys, it's your girl Semret. I wanted to say welcome to Motivational Monday. I start a new series on Mondays. I am going to bring you guys a Motivational Monday. Anything that's going to help us, all of us, my community. And so here we go. Hey you guys, so my reasoning starting this series is that because of my life experience that happened to me, I'm using my experience to help motivate and inspire you guys. And many of you had already sent me messages saying that you are inspired. So welcome, and we're about to get into it. All right, you guys, so I want to talk about having a baby. The reason I want to talk about this topic is it's so needed and it's so a taboo in a way. A lot of women don't like to talk about it, but I'm going to tell you my experience, share with you guys. And so before I met my husband, I used to be married in my 20s. And I remember I got married young, and a few years later we were trying, and I remember feeling like I could not have a baby. And I felt ashamed. I felt like I'm not good of a wife because I wasn't able to get pregnant. Everyone around me made me feel like I should have been pregnant. What's wrong with you? Friends, family members. So I just remember feeling like, oh my God, I am not gonna have a baby. So anyways, we try. I finally got pregnant after trying a few years. And when I got pregnant, I was so excited, of course, right? And in a short moment later, maybe a day or so, I got really sick. I got very sick, and I had to go to ER. And when I got to ER, and I remember the ultrasound tech was doing my ultrasound, and sorry, I'm getting emotional right now. She was like, let me get the doctor in. It's never good news when they say, let me get the doctors in to tell you, right? So in my heart just sank, and I was like asking her, can you tell me what's going on? And she wouldn't tell me. She was like, ma'am, I can't tell you. You have to wait till the doctors come. And so I waited a few minutes. The doctor shows up, and he was like, we have to take you to emergency C-section right now. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, you have ectopic pregnancy. You are gonna die if you don't have this baby taken out. So from my dream come true to being devastated at the same time. And I remember fighting the doctor. It was like, save my baby. There's no way that I can have you take. This is all I wanted. All I wanted was to be a mom and to have a family. And all of a sudden my dream just vanished just like that. And I was like, I felt like my world just crashed at me. Of course, I have to have, the surgery, and ectopic pregnancy is very dangerous, and where the baby grows on the tube. You guys can Google and research, and I felt like I was the only one going through it. I was ashamed, I was hurt, I was like really sad. I was very devastated. At the same time, I was feeling guilty because I felt like God is now gonna punish me, right? I have this cultural thing in my head, I shouldn't have done it. At the same time, I was like, well, I'm gonna die if I don't do it. Anyway, so I had to make the decision. And life went on. I moved on with my life. And of course, the pain is always there, right? I remember just crying by myself. And then when I see people, I'm like the happy girl and not showing my feelings to others. And but it was a devastating time in my life. Of course, shortly after that, my ex and I didn't work out. We part our ways, and I lived my life as a single girl, and I was like, okay, maybe it's never gonna happen for me. And a few years later, I went to check, just check up to see what's going on with me to my doctor. And I remember this doctor was like, you cannot have a baby. You might just well adopt. There's plenty of babies in this world. You guys, she didn't even check me. She literally came into the room and was already like, not really friendly. I remember I drove 20 minutes for my appointment to see her, and it took her and she was very cold. She was just not even friendly, not even like I don't know, as a woman, I was expecting her to be kind to me, but it was the opposite. And I remember telling her, I was like, but I want to have a baby. And she was like, well, you don't have to have your own baby. You could just adopt. And she was like, if you really, really need to have a baby, I'll sign you up to an infertility doctor or something like that. I remember driving from her office and crying because I'm now told that I cannot have a baby. It was like crushing as a woman, and I was like, oh my God. Granted, I was single by myself, but I wanted to know my options because I really wanted to have a baby. You know, I want to be a mother. That's always been my dream, to have a family. And when she told me that, and I was so hurt. I remember calling one of my closest friends. She's just the most amazing human being. She was like, that effing doctor doesn't know what she's talking about. So don't listen. I can laugh right now, but I remember just crying on the phone with her, you know, what she had told me. And so I was devastated. And I learned that maybe it's not gonna happen for me after she told me that. And I made an appointment to see my doctor, the infertility doctor. And I have one tube left. And he was like, well, I have to do all the tests for you before I can tell you that you cannot have a baby. I was like, oh, then the light just bulbed in my head, just like, oh, maybe there is a possibility that I can have a baby. And I just remember feeling inside my head. Of course, they always tell you the pros and cons going through all this. And he was like, well, we need to do the dye, which is they put a dye into your tube to see if it opens, right? And he did that. And of course, the dye went through. He's like, well, you're good. You should try on your own, and if you can't have it within a year, then we can just look what is your options. And I was like, but I don't have a man. I was like, well, now what do I do? It's like, there's that, and I'm not in a relationship, and I just felt like, oh my God, by the time I'm in a relationship, maybe my chances are just gonna be gone, right? So, I'm in my 30s now, and people around me, I get comments here and there, oh, you just want to keep your shape, you just don't want to have a baby. As a woman, you want to tell them your situation, you want to say something, but you're ashamed, you're going to be judged, you're going to be, women sometimes, we're the worst when it comes to supporting and saying things to each other. And anyway, so I just remember feeling like, oh my God, it might not happen for me. It might be just that I'm not gonna have a child. So I had to come to terms. I remember having a conversation with my mom, and she always supported me. She was like, there's so many women in life that they don't have a baby. That doesn't mean they're less than a woman, or they're less than because they can't carry a child, and it's not your fault. She'll always tell me, it's not your fault that you can't have a baby, I think as women, and I share this with you guys because we have this taboo things that when a woman cannot have a baby, she is looked at less than a woman, and it's not her fault. It wasn't my fault, It's not a woman tries, but it's just sometimes not everybody is able to carry a child, but that doesn't mean they're less than a woman, But I remember her conversation with me, she's always say, you're fine, you're gonna be fine, whether you have a baby or not. If you really, really wanna have a baby, you can adopt, But even her conversation was very soothing and really nice. In the back of my head, I still had this slight hope that maybe God is just gonna bless me, You read stories in the Bible, like, people having babies, women having babies in all ages, right? Then a few years passed by, and then, of course, I met my husband. First time I met him, a few, 3 weeks or a month, I don't even remember. I was like, listen, I want to have a baby, but I might not be able to do it naturally. We might have to go in fertility, blah, 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 blah. I was like throwing up on him, like with everything, right? He should have just run. But he is so sweet. He was like, well, okay, whatever. If you can't have a baby on your own, there are doctors that could do it for you. And he was just the kindest person, and for him to assure me that he's not with me because I can have a baby for him made me feel like he's the right person in my life. He's the right guy, that God brought him into me. So anyways, I made him do all the tests, and he was so, kind. He was like, sure, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. And I went again through like the testing because I thought I could not have it on my own. And the doctors were like, okay, when you start your period, we're gonna start the cycle. I forgot there's terms for it. And then I was like, and I told my husband, but I wanna compete. I wanna do a show before I try this. And he was like, sure. I mean, we're gonna have the doctor do it for you anyway, so you don't have to really do it at this time. And I was like, good. For some reason, I remember feeling like, oh, I can put it on hold for now, for like a few months, right? And then I signed up for bodybuilding and to compete a show. I was training. And then, of course, miracle happened. I got pregnant on my own. I just remember, wow, there is a God who hears me. All the cries, all the shame, the just feeling so lost, feeling like less than a woman, feeling like it could never happen for me. You see women carrying children, like, when am I ever gonna feel that? And I used to feel like, did God forget about me? Literally, I used to say that to God. I was like, God, did you forget about me? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Why not me? Why am I feeling like I can't have a child? But when God blessed me with Delina, let me just tell you, my whole world just changed. And I wanted to share my experience with you guys. I wanted to tell you ladies, anyone who is trying, anyone who's been feeling like they cannot have a child. And honestly, it's not for everyone too at the same time. There are women, they're perfectly happy. They don't want to have kids, and that's fine. That's everyone's choice, right? But for me, being a mom was like my dream. It has always been. I wanted to be a mom ever since I can remember. But I know there are women who are in my situation, who has been through so much, losing a baby, trying and trying, hoping that this would work, I hope that you hear my story and it just resonates with you. And it's not gonna be for everyone, but I just wanted to tell you that God is real. He had blessed me. I have lost hope so many times, and I was 38 when I got pregnant. So don't lose hope. There are stories that have been told all over the world, just like my story. And it could be your story too, where you could get blessed. And so at the same time, I think if I can tell you one thing to take away from here is that you have to, one, learn to love yourself and also forgive yourself. And of course you want to try. I'm not saying don't try, but I think loving and accepting, I think that's what happened with me, is that I accepted that there is a chance that I might not have a baby, and I was okay with it because I was like happy that, okay, there's a possibility I could not have a baby. But I had to love myself. I had to forgive myself from being ashamed, from being like less than a woman and less than my friends around me. I think forgiving and loving yourself is the best place to start. But I hope you guys, relate to me. And I don't know if anyone had experienced some sort of infertility issues. But if you do, leave me a comment, leave me a message under this video. Let's open this up for all of us to share, to help each other, to empower women, to love on one another. Really, that's my mission, is to share this with you guys, and not just fitness, but real story, my story that I went through, to help you guys. Because when you go through something, it's not for you, it's for your experience to help somebody else in your life. And so I hope you guys learned something today. And if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give thumbs up, share, like, and also don't forget to subscribe. I will be coming every Monday on this channel. With that, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. Till next time, take care of yourself.